Welcome back, everyone, to What's on Our Screens. I'm Ryan, and I have with me Caspian today. Um, we're doing something different today. I guess we do something different every time. Whatever. Uh, I thought it would be fun to go back and watch some old, not really old for me, movies that I watched when I was a kid. That we watched when you'd seen this before, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll when you start getting to the plot, I'll say there was a line while watching this. I was like, I remember that line so perfectly.
Me too. There were a
Um,
couple. But so I thought it would be fun for us to go back and watch something that we watched as kids and see how we view it now.
Yeah,
A couple years, not more than a couple years later in life, seeing how these like early 2000s kids movies kind of stand the test of time. So the one for today is Catch That Kid.
yeah. And I feel like there was a very specific in the early 2000s kids movies where like Spy was a very
I have another. There's another part of it too, but this very like specific moment in like this is what the kids are into.
Yeah.
Or, like adults being like this is what the kids are into.
Which I don't know how much was like Spy Kids influence or like if every generation goes through this like fad, but I specifically remember like getting like fake gadget toys like as a kid and like creeping around my house.
Yeah,
and, like,
I definitely
using
went
them.
to a birthday party that was like spy themed.
Yeah, so I just don't know where that came from. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is clumped into kind of this early kind of phenomenon that kids were into.
Yeah, the other part of it is like that like early 2000s era when like kind of quote unquote like extreme sports, but like X Games was starting to like pop off and like go-karting and free climbing, which as I've now found out were parts of the original movie because this is an adaptation from a Danish film.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like that was like a moment in time that I remember where it's like skateboarding and snowboarding and like free climbing and like go-karts are like in right now.
Yeah, I even at you're probably gonna get into the plot soon, but in the beginning sequence we see kind of the main protagonist girl climbing, and then it is also nearby this like racetrack.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, there's what's up with the extreme sports? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The main character played by a young Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
She has another like young little kid performance.
Yeah, I was gonna
that's
ask.
really good as well. If you haven't, here's my little pitch for it. It's called Panic Room. You ever heard of it?
No, I haven't.
It's one of David Fincher's early movies. I guess not so early. I guess it's like I don't know. It's like mid-career Fincher. But basically, Jodie Foster has moved into a new house, and there's like a panic room in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And these robbers, played by Forrest Whitaker, Jared Leto, and another actor who is like not really well known, and I think he keeps his mask on for the entirety of the movie, so you don't really see him anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But the two main ones are Forrest Whitaker and Jared Leto, and Jodie Foster and her daughter, played by Kristen Stewart, move into this house. Robbers get the wrong information that people aren't moving in for another week, so they think the house is empty. They break in. They hide in the panic room. The movie goes from
like
there.
This is not a kids movie, to clarify.
No,
yeah.
This is not a kids movie. But it's a David Fincher movie, so you know. But there's some really cool like early 3D stuff that he was doing. Like there's some shots where it like goes like through the walls of the house, and it's a good movie.
That sounds really
I'd recommend
it. That came out a year before Catch That Kid came out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
she's got her foot in the door.
Yeah.
And then she had her big break with Catch That Catch That Kid. How different. I was watching it, and I feel like the only other stuff I've seen her in is Twilight, obviously. And I was like, I feel like her acting's kind of the same.
Yes, but also I think she's like
Also, kind of same premise as Twilight. Two boys have a crush on a girl, and I was watching it. And I was like, this is why they picked her.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, she already did the role.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, after Twilight, she's kind of had like a good
Yeah,
little renaissance run where she's been in a lot of good stuff and giving good performances. What, 2 years ago now, or like not this past fall, but the previous fall was like Spencer. Her role is Princess Diana,
Gotcha.
which was really really good. No, but I do agree though. Like some of her acting stuff from like way back, like to this movie is like
Yeah.
I see some of it
yeah,
of
and
like oh yeah she's got it. Just
yeah, and I 100% was just going based off of Twilight. I haven't, at least knowingly, I feel like seen some of her new stuff. I'm sure she's branched out, but
another like
but yeah, I just feel like quirky girl that's got two boys having a crush on her, and is a little bit kind of tomboyish, I guess,
Yeah.
in a sense, or like
Yeah, and she's-
like a daddy's girl.
yeah. and she like plays the same kind of kid in Panic Room too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Except she spends like spoilers for Panic Room, but she's diabetic, so then she like needs to get her blood sugar up. So then she spends like
So then she
a
robs a
good
bank.
she spends like a good like 30 minutes of that movie just like on the edge of like dying.
Okay, gotcha.
So there's like not a ton of her for like a good half an hour. Anyways, catch that kid. For those who don't know, I'll just like give a quick synopsis of the plot, and then I just kind of want to go through and break it down scene by scene.
Okay. Scene by scene. Okay.
I was taking notes the whole time, and I had
yeah.
a ton of like. I almost wish we had just like done a commentary because I had
Yeah.
some good material that I was just writing down as I was watching.
We can always do that.
So there's this girl who likes climbing. She's got two guy friends. One of them's a film nerd, and the other one does like mechanic stuff.
Yeah.
They're like 13, 14. I found out towards the end. I was like, where is this taking place? It's taking place in LA.
I think
Which I didn't catch on to until they were like the police were chasing them,
And they're like,
LAPD.
LAPD.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, that's where we are.
I don't think I got it either till then too, but yeah.
Anyways, so her and her two friends, they're friends, but also the two guys are like kind of fighting over which one of them is going to get to date her. Her dad she's into climbing because her dad was into climbing. And then you find out that her dad had a climbing accident like years ago. But it somehow has like come back, and he's somehow reinterests back.
Yeah.
And so he's like paralyzed, and the only way to cure him is an experimental surgery in Denmark, which I'm now realizing might be a reference.
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't
to
get
the
that
original
either.
film.
Okay.
And so they need $250,000 for the surgery, and she decides that she's going to rob a bank with her two friends to get the money to pay for the surgery.
And I think it should note that her mom,
And her mom is the one installing the security system in the bank.
which kind of gives her a leg up
Yeah.
in trying to rob the bank.
Yeah. All right, now that you know the plot, go watch it if you want. I had fun with it. I gave it 2 nostalgia stars on Letterboxd. I just wanted to break down like some stuff that I noticed while I was watching it.
Yeah.
Let's have this conversation now. I mentioned it a bunch of times throughout my notes, but the music. I wanted to talk to you about the music throughout.
I'm trying to remember. I do remember it like specifically in like when they're in the heist, they're in the thick of it. It being kind of like early 2000s, kind of like techno. I didn't think anything was wrong with it. I think it just I felt like it was fitting.
Yeah, I thought that it was fitting, but then also I was realizing how like super inconsistent it was.
Like it changed.
Like we'd switch from that like electronic like pop or like house like thumping score to like early 2000s like rock.
Yeah.
And
okay.
then,
I'm kind of.
And then like there's like the scene where she's like. The scene where she's like seducing his older brother out of the security. And then it switches to like a 20s like noir
they just had
score for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like I know what you're doing, but it just doesn't fit.
Yeah. This isn't so much a lie now that we know that it was an adaptation, but I did remember like watching it, and I was like, I feel like they had like a checklist of like an explosion needs to happen at some point, like a quick conflict like between the just like the kind of triangle relationship, but and just like also just the music cues too. I was like, they're like, we need a spot to put this like really aggressive like song.
I kind of want to just jump around because you just reminded me of another thing. So I don't know. I tried. Let's go through in order, so there's a little bit of structure to this. Yeah. Otherwise, I just have like a ton of thoughts that I just want to like throw out there, and it's just going to be a mess. So I was wondering when I was the movie opens with her like climbing on like a water tower, and I was kind of curious as to whether they like had Kristen Stewart trained to like be a rock climber, and then I was noticing that there was like green screen edges just barely on some of the shots that they had like not completely cleaned up 100%. Which is like it's like a kids movie from the early 2000s, so I understand that, like the quality wasn't that, and also like they still hadn't figured out the tech of green screen at that point. So maybe I don't know. Just like the lighting looks really weird, and I was trying to figure out why. And then I was noticing like sometimes the cable, you'd see a little bit of green in the cable.
Yeah.
That's like going up, and especially like when she like falls.
Yeah.
You can see the green screen like outline around her as she's falling.
Yeah. I was watching this with Cloris. Oh, you're good. And she had said that I didn't see it, but she thought she saw, like, could clearly see that it wasn't her climbing, and they had like a stunt double.
I'm sure they had like a stunt double at some points too.
But I didn't notice the green screen. I mean, I think I for sure noticed it. I think they did kind of like an above angle of her falling, and like that obviously did not look super realistic. And then the like very like blurred transition and the text of her name.
That was really another
good.
thing. Was like the like record scratch of like freeze frame introduction of all the characters was like
yeah, I thought it was good.
Love that.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, not to mention she literally almost dies.
Yeah.
Within like the first 30 seconds of the movie, and then she's completely fine.
Yeah. And then she gets a call. Did you notice the old cell phones? Because I was noticing that too, as like a relic of the early 2000s. It's like when she gets the call from her mom, you can like see the cell phone on her hip, and there's like obviously someone like photoshopped in like a picture of her mom for it.
Yeah.
And then we cut to after her mom calls her and needs her to like pick up her little brother from daycare.
Yeah.
And because her mom's going into work. And then we get like a scene of her mom talking to her boss about the bank security system install and about how the system isn't ready yet. Yeah. But he doesn't care because he's a mean old boss.
Yeah.
And I said this to you yesterday, but I was like, this is like a trend throughout kids' movies, but the like adults will talk like how kids think adults talk, not how adults actually talk.
Yeah.
Just like watching it again, I was like, yeah, that's exactly how this like you've seen BoJack, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked,
yeah.
Okay. It's like every time Vincent adult man shows up, the kid,
Yeah.
and he's like, I had to go to work and do a business.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was thinking of when I was hearing him. Like the shareholders, we need money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good comparison. I will say, before jumping, when we get the call between Maddie and her mom, we get this early tension that Maddie doesn't really feel cared about.
Oh
from,
yeah. That
from
pays
her
off
mom.
later. Yes,
Because she has to watch her little brother that's like,
Mm-hmm.
a toddler, maybe younger.
Yeah. And then we get introductions of the other two kids. Should we say their character names are Gus and Austin. Gus is played by
It's Max something.
Max
Which he was the older brother in Bates Motel.
Max Theroy. I don't know how to say it. But anyways, yeah, he's in some stuff. He's kind of went on to have a interesting career. He's in Jumper. Have you ever seen Jumper? That's a wild movie. And then he plays Gus, and then the other guy is played by Corbin Blue, who was big back then, and got bigger after this. Actually, yeah, High School Musical. What's he been up to? I feel like I'm not going to say anything until I read real quick.
He was a big heartthrob.
Yeah.
I feel like for girls in our generation.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to. For some reason, never mind. Yeah. Yeah, he kind of had a good, weird little career, like Disney stuff, and then moved on out of Disney stuff for a little bit. Apparently, he was on Dancing with the Stars. That's fun. Anyways, just a cool little
I feel
early 2000s
all
guy.
kind of have an equivalent, are well-known faces, but maybe not incredibly significant in the nicest way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And then the other guy who works at the bank, did you recognize him? He's a pretty...
Yeah, he's in Zodiac. Mm-hmm. He's kind of the
main suspect.
And also in American Horror Story, in the Freak Show season, he plays a clown.
Oh, is he the clown?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure.
That's the only season I've seen.
If I remember correctly, but...
Yeah, no, but he's a character actor who does a lot of work, so you've probably recognized.
But yeah, I feel mostly does creepy roles, so it was funny seeing him in a kid's movie.
And in the comedic relief part almost too.
Yeah.
He's pretending or wants to be an actor and is really obsessed with De Niro, which is funny. So after the little scene with her mom, we cut to the go-kart track that her dad owns. How do you come to own a go-kart track? Just buy some property in LA?
Yeah, I guess. You're right. Maybe that's a good business to get into. Yeah, I'm not sure because they were doing races and stuff. It wasn't your ordinary kind of you're at a.
Yeah, it was a horse track.
Yeah,
I was all right, here's our next race.
I will say, I didn't really get that they owned it till later in the movie.
Oh yeah,
did you have trouble with that?
It's not really clear. Yeah, I mean they're there all the time and hanging out there. So unless they're just trespassing constantly.
Yeah,
you'd have to assume that maybe they own it or something. Do we get to introduce to Gus's douchey older brother, which is just a fun little trope of older brothers suck.
Yeah, for sure.
I noticed that they're oh yeah, look at Corbin Blue's character. He's a film nerd. So he can be our tech guy.
Yeah, the same.
It's he understands how to shoot things and hack computers.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, and then they as they're leaving the racetrack, he the older brother throws in the bit about how he wants to be a cop and he's going to be taking
Yeah.
the night shift at the bank. So just like put that in the pocket for later.
Also, like with Austin's character, this may be jumping ahead a little bit, but like when he's like doing some kind of hacking in the heist, he like plugs in a cable to his computer, or sorry, to his camera, and that somehow does something.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's to like play the video of.
Oh,
the
okay,
guy.
okay.
But
So
I
that,
don't
that
know
makes
why
a little
we
bit
can't
more
just like
sense.
have that on like a like a SD card or something. So then they have like a little barbecue, which is just like funny.
Yeah,
because it was just like the two kids are like asking the dad
yeah,
how to date his daughter,
Yeah.
and he like gives him like a non-answer. And then this is the thing that I remember from this, like one of the like I don't know why, but you know, one of the things that I just like specifically remember is the scene where he like burns his hand or his like wrist on the grill.
Okay.
But I got the line that the dad says as he like grabs like a Sprite bottle and then like pours Sprite on the burn, and he's like, it's an old climber's trick. And I'm like, how is that an old climber's trick?
Yeah, how are you getting burned? Also, like I when he did that, I thought he just was gonna put the cold can on the burn.
Yeah, yeah.
But he just pours it on him. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how he's burning himself while climbing.
Yeah. Just wanted to quickly mention the efficiency of this already, like this 90-minute really short movie, but 12 minutes in we get the little inciting incident of like his all of a sudden his back is acting up again, he's paralyzed, and now they need $250,000.
And that, so the line that I remembered specifically was, "I can't feel my legs."
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
him just like dropping.
That too. Yeah.
But yeah, just diving into that a little bit more. We kind of anecdoted it at the beginning, but so he was in a climbing accident. He shows his scar to the two boys across his whole back, and then just was like in the kitchen and fell and was paralyzed from like the neck down.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it happens. I don't know.
I don't know how it happens either.
I can understand how like an old injury can get like re-aggravated and like just because of the nature of where it was. Like maybe that was like worse. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really.
I just feel like
he's hurt and they need money.
Yeah. I feel like he just could have been like doing something, but he just was in the kitchen and just falls down.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to just quickly shout out that like $250,000 is like a really good amount for them to pick of like, oh, this is how much this is going to cost. Because it's like not too little that they could just like do like, oh, we need to like have a couple of car washes or something, you know? But it's also not too much that like you could understand that like 3 like teenagers could carry that much cash out of a bank in like hundreds.
Okay. So are you applauding the like the thought into the number?
I just think that the number is like really good.
Yeah.
It's like not like an egregious amount, but it's not like so little that it's like, oh yeah, we can just like sell some cookies at the go-kart track and like we'll be able to raise the money, you know? Like something drastic needs to happen.
I really thought you were going to go the route of like, I think it's a really good number because it's like a good like portrayal of our like medical our medical.
They say it's like an
medical
experimental
system.
surgery.
Yeah.
That's like not, you have to go to Denmark to get it.
Yeah.
So like that's fine.
Even thinking about that seems scary. Like, would you be?
Yeah.
Well, and also I thought it was weird when like the doctor first tells him about this experiment.
They're like, it's had some success.
Well, but the mom and Maddie are like right on it. They're like, how much? How like to tell me how much? And then like the dad's just sitting there. I'm like, bro, ask him. I'm like, he can talk.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. Maybe he's like asleep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think his eyes were open though. Like I feel like they cut to a shot of him just like staring at them.
I'm sure. That was the other thing. Was like after we get this like scene of like it's gonna cost $250,000. The mom goes to the bank that she's working for and it's like, I need a loan. And the like terrible boss is like, no, it's about money, not about feelings. And I was like, that's also a good little thing of like, it like morally justifies that we can like steal from him because he wouldn't, give us the money out of the goodness of his heart.
Yeah, and he also tried to claim that like the security system should have been done.
Yeah.
And so it's the mom's fault. So
Yeah,
another reason.
Contracts, business.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the mom being like in charge of installing the security system is also like, oh, that's how they're able to like, that's how these kids are able to like sneak in.
Yeah.
Is like the mom has the, designed the place or whatever.
I will say, so when Maddie first comes up with the idea to do the heist, her mom is like asleep on the couch and like she's like reviewing the footage, I guess, of the place.
Yeah.
I was a little confused by that. Like, was she reviewing it because it wasn't done yet, or the video was just like a breakdown of the security system. So I just was trying to understand.
This is how to break into the safe.
Yeah. I was like, why is there like a breakdown?
Yeah.
But I guess somebody needs to know how to get to it.
Yeah. She then like goes with her mom to work while she like gives assignments to the two guy friends to like go do things throughout the day to like this is like heist prep.
Yeah.
So she's like going through getting a tour with her mom and the guy, what's his name?
John something.
Yeah.
John
His
Lynch?
character is like Mr. Hartman or something. Yeah, it is John Carroll Lynch. But like his character, and she's like getting a tour. She's taking pictures with like her cell phone camera.
A
and
cool
I'm like,
gadget.
I don't think a little Nokia cell phone has ever taken pictures that look that
Yeah,
good.
so crisp. they were such crisp photos from so far away.
Oh yeah. And then I just put in a little note about the security guards because it's like just some good old slapstick.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll save some more of that discussion for later when they're like a bigger part of the plot. The kid is like using the burn from earlier to like guilt trip the secretary lady into like giving him not like some blueprints, like she gives him a whole like 6 foot tall model of the building.
Yeah. Which I also thought, why can't you just take a picture of that? But
well, and then later, Corbin Blue's character is like, "Oh yeah, I 3D scanned it into my computer," and I was like, "There's no way you did that on your home computer in 2004."
Yeah, there was a lot.
And then it spits out like a hologram of it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to go into. Like, it was very. I think it's funny how like it's set in modern day, but they have technology that is not modern day at all.
Yeah. Well, that's all like heist movies, I guess.
So I just thought that was funny. Yeah, he's like pulling up all these like 3D models that are like just like being projected.
I also made note of he's like, we got to put nitrous on the go-kart, and I was like that thing's little engine doesn't just like explode when you do that.
But the connecting the Xbox remote is fine.
That was the other thing too. I was like, this kid's not only a mechanic, but he's like a mechanical engineering and like computer engineering major as well. Just hooks up his Xbox.
Which somehow the Xbox controls like the nitro or whatever.
And the little like jacks that he uses to pop the tires. Yeah, did love to see the old Xbox remote though.
Yeah. I like that well, maybe I won't say it. We'll come back to that, but
yeah. I'm just I'm sorry, I'm remembering plot points. They get a video of the guy who like wants to be an actor.
Yeah.
the like help. I don't know what his job is, but
I
he's
think
like
he works at the
recruiting-
bank.
Yeah.
I think he's below the evil guy.
Yeah, but he wants to be an actor, so he's like pretending to be like he's like doing his De Niro impression,
Yes.
and they get him to like film a little clip of him saying "Turn the alarm off"
Yeah.
to be used for later. But then the thing that I was laughing about is they have like a little like trouble in paradise, like their little group breaks up.
Yeah.
And then it gets resolved really quickly. And the like breakup is just like it's just like the smallest thing, and then they're like, "All right, I'm done."
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. If we want to break it down, I will say so when Maddie was on the tour, and John Lynch's character is showing the tour.
Yeah, I might have skipped over some stuff.
That's where he's just showing her around, and he shows that while doing his like De Niro impression, he tells her that that's like the master password.
Yeah. That unlocks everything in the bank.
So that's how she gets that, and then and they also, I guess, wanted to get the video in case anything went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the conflict within the group, Maddie, I think found something that Austin did as like smart, and she gave him a little kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
And immediately Gus just like throws something, turns
throws
him,
like a lamp.
Yeah. And then they're like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Do the heist with your boyfriend."
Yeah.
And then Maddie's like, "He's not my boyfriend." And then Austin's like, "I'm not your boyfriend." And then he just storms off. So yeah, I like that they were like, literally 3 seconds ago everything was fine, and then the whole relationship.
And then like in between, like I was taking notes as I was watching the movie, and like there's one small little note in between they break up and then emotional manipulation to get everyone back in.
Yeah. Oh, I just put she's toxic.
Oh yeah, super. She goes to one of them and is like, "Here's the deal. I love you. Here's a little like half heart necklace. I have the other half." Goes to the other one, does the same exact thing. Goes, "Here's the deal. Gus sucks. I love you. Here's my little necklace." I have the other half.
Yeah. She played them so hard, and she's like, "Don't tell the other one.
Don't tell him, he'll be jealous." Yeah.
Dude, toxic, man. I thought it should also be noted the planning for the heist is only 3 days.
Yeah, it's super quick. And then like before the heist even starts, like something goes wrong, which I liked. The mom's like, "All right, I'm going to this." So the heist is going to take place during the opening, like party of this bank. So the mom is going to the party for work, and she's like, "I need you to watch the baby, Max," and he's like 2. And so it's like, "Oh no, now we have to take this baby on the heist with us. What are we gonna do?" Which, first of all, cute baby. That's a cute kid.
Wow, I had a different reaction.
Really?
I thought it looks fake. It looks like a baby doll.
It looks like a baby. Yeah, that's why it's a cute kid.
I didn't think it was cute. Literally multiple times while watching it, I was like, "That's not a cute baby." But I'm sorry, you're a lot nicer.
Well, I mean, they throw him. Okay, here's my problem.
Okay.
Last minute, they're like, "You have to watch this baby." Oh no, what are we gonna do? They put him in a tux. Where did they get a baby tux so quickly? And heist gear for him too.
I didn't think like the beanie like half off his head because his head is so big.
And did you notice the utility belt with the baby bottle on it?
No, I didn't. Wow, you're taking notes. I did not. That's really funny. Before we move, I did have a question. At one point, they buy plane tickets to Denmark.
Yes.
With what money?
That's what I was curious too.
Okay.
They're like, okay, we need to buy 3 tickets to Copenhagen.
Why was for the three of them?
I
Not in-
imagine for
Okay. But that's not even the dad.
We can come back to this when we get to their like escape plan, because
Okay,
that's
yeah.
where the things
Yeah.
start to fall apart. But yeah, I have questions about that. So now the like heist starts, and they're driving their go-karts to the heist. This is problem number one. They're like, it happens as they're leaving, which is like good for dramatic tension.
Yes.
But there's no way they're driving down the streets of LA in go-karts and someone doesn't try and pull them over.
Yeah.
And they got a baby on one of them.
Also, I thought somewhere Gus was trying to make the go-karts quieter.
Yeah, doesn't
But
happen.
that just was abandoned, and they just are.
Well, that's what
like,
the nitrous is.
Okay.
But that doesn't make it quiet. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So they go through the like parking garage. They drive past the security guard. The security guard's watching an episode of The Simpsons. I just wanted to stop here and talk about that for 2 seconds.
Go for it.
Because this was my first exposure as a kid to The Simpsons.
Interesting. I wonder if it was mine too.
Because I just like didn't know what it was. I just knew that it was like an adult cartoon that I couldn't watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the only thing I know about it is like, oh, Bart's trying to take a picture of his butt, and like that's
Yeah.
There's some really cool looking shots when they're driving the go-karts. When they're doing some of the chase scenes, I was like, there's some like this guy really wants to like shoot a chase scene well,
Yeah.
and everything else he's like, all right, fine,
Yeah.
do this freaking movie. They all get out. They're all wearing their black tie apparel, and
He's good. He's.
okay. I thought that's what you were looking at.
I hit the cord, so I want to make sure it's still going.
Okay.
But they're wearing their black tie.
They get out of the go-karts, and they're all wearing their black tie apparel, and they're all like got their hair done up and everything. And my guy Gus is rocking the faux hawk.
Yeah. Do you ever have faux hawk? Okay. I had them.
Yeah.
I had every now and then.
Yeah.
Wasn't a regular thing.
No. But this was like all to the front too.
Yeah.
It was like a horn.
Yeah. Gotta blend in.
Yeah. Gotta blend in. It's the black tie event.
Yeah, and I like that. Like he literally had like a tux, like the like old like.
Yeah.
Style.
Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, it looks like he's going to prom.
Yeah.
And they just walk right in the front door.
Yeah.
That was the plan. They just walk right in the front door.
And maybe that's why they did it on this day, because they knew they'd be able to get in.
But
'cause
everyone
it's a
else
party.
is waiting in line for like
Oh,
to show their tickets,
okay.
and they just walk past the line and just like walk in.
She's like, my mom did the security here.
I
Yeah.
guess so.
She knows the password.
and they're carrying a baby too.
Okay.
They only have 2 guards
Yeah.
for this whole place, and one's a trainee.
Yeah.
The security system isn't ready yet. We only have 1 guard.
Yeah.
Just
And it's
wanted
not
to
even
point
like
that
a
out.
it's not even like guards walking around. Like it's just they're just in a
they're just
room of
in a booth.
screens.
Yeah. I mentioned the score. Oh, that was the thing. So they get into the party. They run around to like the back, where they can like hide, or they can like go up to like the 2nd floor or whatever of the bank. Right.
Yeah.
They hop in the elevator on the 1st floor. They pop out on the 2nd floor. They've changed.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
You don't believe it?
No way. They changed. All 3 of them got changed, and they changed the baby in the elevator from the 1st to the 2nd
There's
floor.
also no remains of clothes
No.
anywhere.
Well, they throw them in the backpack,
Okay.
obviously.
Oh,
But
so
I'm just
that's
saying.
that's reasonable.
I'm just saying there's no way they got that kid changed along with themselves
Yeah.
into their cool heist gear. So they only needed the black tie wear to just walk in the front door.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying
They
their
planned
escape
this out.
plan. Their escape plan is more sophisticated than their getting in plan.
Yeah, there was a lot of situations where I was like, y'all just kind of played this by ear. Like,
Well, they're kids. I think that's ultimately like the excuse for all of this. Is, like they're kids and they don't know what they're doing. but it's fun to pick it apart.
Well, I feel like we got 3 days of them just spending a lot of time into this. But then when Maddie like got to the second floor, like, and she was trying to draw security out, she's like, "Shoot, what am I gonna do?" And then
she shows her face.
Yeah, and then just improvises.
There's let's get into the camera discussion.
Okay.
What's the deal with the security cameras?
So I guess they move on their own.
They got like motion detectors on them.
Well,
So they like turn on when they sense motion.
yes, okay. And they also just move around on their own. Like, it's not like somebody moves them.
Yes.
But
But are they recording?
I
Because
guess
they're like we start moving and then they're playing like red
Yeah.
light, green light.
Yeah,
which is like funny.
I was
fun.
like, you should have just ran.
Yeah, but like if it catches you
Yeah.
and it turns on, isn't it recording you?
So I don't think it was recording. I don't think.
Why aren't they recording?
I don't think that technology was available. I think that's why
they didn't have security cameras that recorded.
I think that's why they have two people
Just
watching
live
the
camera feed?
Yeah, I think that's why they have two people. But I had the same thought too. I was like, well, they're already caught.
Yeah, well, we have your faces on camera.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It-
It did make sense to me. Also, it reminded me of in like Return of the Jedi to get into Jabba the Hutt's like palace.
oh yeah,
The, like,
yeah, that
eyeball.
little camera.
Yeah.
I'm sure some
Yeah.
set designer was like, "I'm gonna make the camera from Star Wars."
But yeah, didn't make a whole lot of sense because they got caught on camera a lot.
Yeah, like a ton.
Yeah.
Then they split up. Gus and Maddie go to the bank vault while Austin is
In like
with the baby in like the
big boss's
office. And then he has to hide because John Carroll Lynch's character brings somebody back there to kiss him, to give him some smooches.
Yeah. I was not expecting that.
No.
Eventually when they leave because someone walks in on them,
Yeah.
does he say... He says something along the lines of like, because the lady that walks in on them is kind of giving him like a agitated look or like a look of disappointment, and he was like stockholder.
I have no idea.
I
was
thought
like,
he said something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and I was like, okay. I was like, this is a different kind of that's a whole different kind of plot.
Did you notice that they left the camera and the baby bottle on the desk?
So I remember when they heard them coming in and they went on the table, I was like, his computer was right there. Like that was what I first thought. But I didn't remember the baby bottle.
The baby bottle and the camera are just like chilling on the desk, and I was like, we didn't.
Yeah.
Did we just leave it because we were like, they wouldn't remember that, or is it just like we didn't care? I don't know.
I don't think there was time. I think they just had to make a split decision, and it worked out.
What was that in reference to? I said I wrote more emotional manipulation or something.
So I made a note of when Gus and Maddie are now in like the main vault.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
And there's like a bunch of individual safety deposit boxes, but the big amount of money is like hanging in the middle of the room.
Ceiling. Yeah.
So Maddie's having to Gus randomly steps on something, and this like holographic, dual screen goes around him, and he can like push each individual,
really cool.
push each
It's
individual
really
safety deposit box, and it opens.
So she can climb up using the open safety deposit boxes.
Which while watching that, I was like, that's not hard, because they just like made a staircase essentially for her to go up to.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
But we see later that she does a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But I remember there's a point where Gus actually pushes the wrong one and it almost pushes her off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fixes it, and he's like, you need to come down. Like, this is too dangerous. Like, I'm not going to do this anymore. You're like, he's out. He's tapping out. And she's like, I love you.
Yeah, that's
and
what
then
it was.
he's like, okay,
I guess I got to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
It was pretty manipulative.
Yeah. She's climbing up. She gets to the top up there, and then she starts climbing up the little like crack in the wall, I guess.
Yeah.
That's like perfectly fit for climbing.
Yeah.
And then we get a little flashback to her dad talking about how he was like free climbing in a similar situation.
Because we did forget that because like in his accident when he fell, he was like free soloing it, or they say free climbing it in this. But her like while she's climbing this like little very narrow path, her like equipment gets stuck, and she has that flashback, and then she's like, I can free solo it, and then she starts freehanding it.
Then she gets up to the top. I had some real trouble with this. I don't know if you ran into it.
So
as well.
I was like, in terms of her route, like her technique of doing it.
No, like her progress going across the monkey bars.
Just like it was like very not consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she like gets up to the top, and then there's like some like metal scaffolding that like goes across to where the safe is, and it's just essentially she's just like monkey bars.
Yeah, her goal is to get to like the middle of it to then drop down on like the big safe in the middle of the room.
Yeah. And it's just like the shots are just like super like it would cut and she's like halfway across the monkey bars, and then it would cut to a different angle and she's like at the beginning, and then it would cut back and she's like hanging over the safe, and then it would cut back again and she's like on like the first rung, like way back.
I didn't notice.
I was like, wait, well, because I was like, oh, okay. They were like, we'll get some dramatic tension of her, like, you know, going across, and then she like stops and like looks down at one point.
Yeah.
But I was just noticing that, like, oh, I don't know how far across she is because every time we cut, she's somewhere different on the monkey bars, and it's not like she's making slow progress. It's like it's back and forth.
I will say, like, I don't think I realized that she was trying to get to the middle to drop down until
Me
like,
neither.
after
I don't
it happened.
know. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember the whole time I was thinking, like, why are you monkey barring it when you could just go on top?
That's also a
like,
good question. Yeah, yeah.
you just
crawl on top. Yeah. Oh, she has she gets to the safe. She's trying to unlock it
After almost falling.
Yeah,
too.
after almost falling. The code that's been working up to this point, De Niro, doesn't work on this safe.
Nope.
She has a little flashback to her mom being like, I think about you all the time.
Yeah.
Turns out the password is her name.
Yeah. And she feels really happy. Her mom cares about her. And I guess care is the equivalent of making it the master password for, millions of dollars in a vault.
They get the money. Only 250 that they steal exactly. Okay.
Exactly.
Here's another thing. They steal exactly $250,000.
Yeah.
The dogs.
Yeah, they lose some of it.
They lose some of it. So are they just like cool with just like losing some of it? They can make up whatever they lost.
It did show Gus picking up some of it when they were leaving, but not all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, how much could they have like lost in that little bit? Like enough that they probably could have like scrounged together the last little bit. Yeah. So it's probably nothing, but I just like noticed that they was like,
yeah, I'm like,
you
they
definitely lost some on the way. Yeah. We can now I want to talk about the security guards for just a tiny bit.
Go for it.
It was at this point that I noticed that the head security guard was wearing a beret.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
You didn't notice that? Okay.
I didn't catch on until like the movie was almost.
I thought they
over.
both were.
No, just he is.
Okay.
The other guys just got like a usual, just like security guard hat. Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's just like beating the crap out of this kid.
Yeah.
He's like, you have to pay attention. You have to be a good security guard.
But simultaneously, while he's like telling Gus's older brother to do this, you can see on the camera behind them that it's like the three kids are like sneaking around.
And then they're like stopping. Yeah. They got caught so many times they didn't quote. Oh, this is when I was thinking about the cameras, but we talked about that. Did you notice that he was wearing braces too? This lead security guard, he had like braces.
No, yeah, I didn't notice that.
Oh, okay. Maybe it wasn't braces. Maybe he had like a grill. I don't know. There was something like blue in his teeth, and I just assumed it was braces. So I was like, maybe they just like hired an an adult with, but I don't know why that was the hiring choice. I don't know. It's just weird character.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Oh, they have those little like film like speed ups. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Where it's like the camera will like pan, and while it's panning, it's like sped up, and then we like get to the shot of
Yeah.
where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like something that was like very popular
Mm-hmm.
at that time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
Sorry,
remember seeing it in like Saw, which is like 2 years earlier.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking. I didn't think you were talking about like the actual production. I thought you were talking about like within the film, like if that was something that like Austin was doing.
Oh
or something.
no, yeah. They get away because the older brother like steps in. He's tired of.
Before we get there,
Yeah.
the dogs get released.
Oh yeah,
Austin,
the Rottweiler.
Austin had some
Ass fart.
Yeah, yeah. Austin had some experience. He like went to I guess a Rottweiler like trainer or just
breeder, whatever. Yeah.
to like get some advice if they needed to like defend themselves. And the like trainer tells him that they know Russian or
They
German.
know German. Yeah.
And like he tells him like a German word, but Austin thinks it sounds like that. Which was he just messing with him, or did he actually think that's what he was saying?
I think that's what he was trying. He was trying to say the German word,
Okay.
which that's like Ausfahrt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
He's like ass fart, ass fart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
so-
like a good PG joke.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But so he gets that intel, and maybe he wasn't confident with it because the trainer got really mad at him and told him to leave and actually like sent a dog after him.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So the dogs get released, and I'm like, all right, this is Austin's time to shine. He's gonna, say the phrase, but then he
they
just
get
runs.
chased around for a little
But
bit.
yeah, so
first.
but yeah, so then after they've taken some money out of the bag, the dogs have like ripped open the bag. Then he like does it, and they sit down. And then that's when
and then the
the
guard
lead
comes
guard,
up and it's like
yeah, which
slow clapping.
and then was kind of scary and was like,
Oh, yeah.
no one can hear you scream down here, and
It's
was
like,
like,
oh,
yeah.
what are we doing?
yeah, like literally, like they just robbed a literally kids just robbed a bank. Like I don't think they're literally like, please, we didn't mean to. Like
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, you're gonna abuse them now? Like that didn't make any sense to me. But that's when Gus's older brother steps in and tasers, I guess,
Yeah,
the lead guard, and then himself.
yeah,
Which is-
accidentally, which is funny.
But also kind of a strategic move because if someone's like, what happened? It looks like they both got hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was intentional, but but now they're on their escape.
They're on the go-karts
Yeah.
driving away. Oh,
Not yet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's another little group breakup that Austin and Gus see each other's little necklaces,
Yeah.
and they go, "Hey, what's going on here?" They leave Maddie all by herself. They drive away. They
Yeah.
get chased by the cops for a little bit.
For like a long time.
Yeah, it's like a good 3 minutes of chase scene with
Ye-
just the two of them.
Hmm.
The
Which they're the ones that originally get the cops on them,
Yes.
and like they leave the money, like they literally storm
I think
out.
they left the money with Matt. Yeah.
So the two of them are just driving, and this is when a police car like turns its light on, and you hear like the speakerphone. He's like, "Pull over." I'm literally thinking, I'm like, they just don't want you driving a go-kart in the street.
Well, I think they like play some like police radio of like suspects leaving the bank area, but I don't think the kids know that. I think they do play some like police radio of like bank robbery suspects leaving the
Okay.
area in go-karts or something like
Okay, I didn't hear that then, because I was like, you literally could just pulled over and he,
yeah, but also like they're chasing them in
yeah,
cars. They're chasing the go-kart with a car.
yeah.
The car is obviously going to be able to go faster.
No, I'm just kidding, but not in this logic.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the amount of damage they do,
It's a lot.
Yeah, but I think that's more so when they join Maddie and her little brother.
Yeah, so they get away. They stop for a second, have a little moment of reflection of like, man, we got to go back and help her. It's for her dad or something to that effect.
Yeah.
They turn back around, they go find her, and then they're still being chased by the cops. And then he like hits the little button on his Xbox controller to let out some jacks to pop the tires of the police cars chasing him.
Yeah, and they kind of like, maybe I'm getting mixed up, but maybe this happened when just Austin and Gus went under something, but I think like the cars like crashed.
Yeah, I think they were under a semi that was conveniently backing up across the road.
Yeah, but I also thought there was like some kind of explosion when they released like the kind of sharp jacks or whatever.
I
remember just
do
being
remember
I
an
remember
explosion too, but I don't remember.
I'm like,
what
did that
led
kill
to it.
people right
Yeah.
then? Like I literally like had that thought. But anyways.
They're dealing with the like our bank just got robbed back at the bank party.
Yes.
The boss is really angry about it. They're like, we believe. They're like, how much did they get away with? They say $25,000 or
$100,000.
$2,500,000, and then they're like, they're getting away on go-karts, and then the mom's like, they're getting away on go-karts, and I was like, we're not going to talk about the fact that they got access to your bank vault and only took $250,000, and then the other guy who's like the I don't know, the guy who we've been talking about.
John Lynch.
Yeah, John Carroll Lynch's character is like, they only took 250, and I was like, okay, thank you. Like someone mentioned that like they got into a bank vault holding $25 million and they only took 250,000.
Yeah. I think maybe the mom was processing it because I think someone showed the like clamp that got stuck when she was climbing, so maybe she was like putting the pieces together.
Yeah. I think and then they like go to the hospital and they find him there.
Yeah.
But also there's like a French guy who's like, sounds like this was your fault, boss man.
Yeah.
And then he leaves, and it's like, did we just lose an investor in the bank?
Yeah.
Who is this guy? What's going?
Somebody important.
But just another one. I'm taking my investment.
Yeah. But I think that's supposed to show that boss man is, maybe at risk of losing his job if these major, I guess, accounts are upset.
Yeah, the security system wasn't ready to go when they opened.
Yeah.
They were just like having a party downstairs in the bank anyway. There's like a bunch of problems.
Yeah.
With it, but
have you ever been aware of a bank throwing a party?
No.
For whatever reason.
in like a giant building too. It seems like a giant office building.
Yeah, I don't know.
So then they get away. They get to the hospital with the money. And then here's where we can talk about what's the plan now. They get to the hospital with the money. They throw the money down and they're like, we got the money. We're going to get you the surgery. What?
Yeah. It's like all of their planning was just for the heist. And after that, they had no idea what they were doing.
We're just going to like roll you out of the hospital in your hospital bed to the airport.
Which you only have 3 tickets and there's 4 people in your family.
I mean, maybe the baby's like a lap ticket, you know?
There you go.
But also, is the hospital going to take cash? Are they going to pack it up in their suitcases to go to Denmark and be like, here you go, here's 250,000 American dollars.
Yeah.
I'd like 1 surgery, please.
Yeah, I don't know. I literally was like, you guys could have gotten away with it. Like, you could have just... You got away on the go-karts. Like, you could just hid the money somewhere.
Yeah.
And then just done this tomorrow.
Yeah. No, we got to do it right.
Yeah.
Well, and then because then they're like, oh, later, because they're like, there's no like time concern that they really like. He's not gonna die if they don't get this surgery in time.
Well, and also like going back to how they just started like acting like they were gonna push him, like his dad in like the hospital bed.
Yeah, they start pushing him out of the room, and
I'm like, what? You gonna strap that to the go kart? Like, what do you like? What on earth is your plan?
Yeah.
Because, like, you need a card. Like, homie cannot just be strolled to the airport.
That's when the police investigator, I guess, and adults get there. The mom is like, actually, I hired them to do this to show that there's still problems with the security system that I've installed.
Yeah.
And my contract says that I can do that. And it's like, oh, that's a good way to get them out of 25 to life.
Yeah. Doing a bunch of public damage to the cop car.
Police chase.
Yeah.
Now it's like not a crime. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It was in the contract.
What? Oh, I was mentioning Stewart's acting at this point. I think there was like a good little scene in there. Maybe when she's like talking to her mom or something. I don't know. So they make up this money so there's like, you hear some like newscasters outside the hospital like talking about the story.
They had to give back the money because
Yeah.
it was all just a test.
Yeah. But now the like story is like out there of like, oh, this guy needs $250,000 for his surgery. And
I had something to say about that because, yeah, there's a bunch of like news coverage, but I thought, shouldn't the news coverage be that like the director of the security of a bank hired 3 kids to break in a bank and they did it? How would...
Yeah, I feel like that's the story over.
That would be the story, because if the story was 3 kids broke into a bank to save their, to help get a procedure for their paralyzed dad, then they would be responsible for everything that happened.
Well, 'cause I think it's like that was the story, was like these 3 kids broke into a bank vault to get money for their dad, but actually we're just hearing now that they didn't actually get the money. It was just their mom hired them to break into the bank.
That does make more sense.
But they still need the money.
The news works fast, I guess. I was surprised.
So then the next day, there's like a giant line outside the go-kart track. People are showing up.
Mm-hmm.
They're buying tickets to the,
I guess
race.
I don't know.
But was there races planned for the day?
I don't
If
know.
there was no one there to like attend to the...
I don't know. I guess just to hang out. It's the place to hang out. Maybe they have like free days where anyone can, race around.
Maybe. But so
through this,
the John Carroll Lynch's character, after they're like they're letting everybody in, everybody's buying their tickets,
and
everybody's
paying
like
a little bit more.
Yeah. Here's an extra $100 for Mr.
P.
whatever
P.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call
it. And then at the end of the day, they're like, oh, they're counting the money, and they're like, oh, we're still like really short. And then like John Carroll Lynch's character comes in and is like, oh man, we forgot to give you the consulting fee for doing your bank vault heist test of our security system.
Yes.
Here's $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, the bank will loan us the rest, or we'll be able to scrounge together the rest. So how much did they earn from one day at the go-kart track?
I don't know.
I said it's got to be at least 150,000.
Wow, I was gonna say more like 50 maybe, but there was a lot of people. If they were all giving, because a lot of people were giving like 100.
They said they got money from the news station as well.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know whether that's like people like sent money to the news station to give to them, or like the news station set up like a donation line, or I don't know what that is. But apparently the news station money plus whatever they got at the track, plus the 50,000, plus whatever they could take on in loans is enough to get the surgery. So I was just trying to do the numbers of like how much did they earn at the racetrack. So I was like, it's got to be like at least 100,000, maybe like 125, 150.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people, and if they're dropping,
That's so much money.
Benjamins, yeah, I don't know.
I needed a little bit more of like this guy is like a pillar of the community vibes
Yeah.
from the dad for this to like all come together. Like,
I-
it seemed like he's like a well-liked guy, which
Mhm.
is like, you need that. But I felt like I needed a little bit more like, this go-kart track has been in the family for 25 years and everyone always comes down on Saturdays for the races or
Yeah.
something. Just something like that to make it believable.
Yeah.
Because I was like, everybody's like, yeah, his dad's back.
Yeah. Because after it cuts to them getting, I don't know, the check and counting the money, it then cuts to just like 3 months later, and it's just a...
And he's walking again.
Yeah.
It's like, he got his experimental surgery, went through PT, and is walking around now.
Mm-hmm. Working.
Yep. Then there's like one little scene at the end. He's like walking around announcing the races, and then they're like, all right, Maddie, you gotta choose me or Austin. And she's like, okay, I'll choose, just turn around. And then they turn around and she runs away, and then they chase after her, and then in the ugliest font I've ever seen in my life displays on the screen the end.
Yeah, it was really bad. Looked like an
was like-
animated Disney movie or something.
I was like, of all the things that were like wrong with this movie,
Yeah.
that was the one thing that I was like, okay, come on, guys. And that's the end.
Yeah.
2 stars. It was good. It was fun to go back to it.
Yeah, I don't think it was bad at all.
Yeah. Despite us like picking it apart for the last hour.
Yeah.
I did have a fun time watching it again.
Yeah, I think the Spy Kids ones are a little superior. I
Oh,
get
yeah.
I get they're
Should we
different.
go into Spy Kids?
I'm not opposed.
I rewatched Spy Kids 3. Rough.
Gotcha. I remember
Same kind of experience. Like fun, but ooh.
I remember the first one, and maybe I should save this, but I remember the first one scaring me.
The thumb people? Is that
Not the
first
thumb
one?
people. The thumb people are in the first one, but
Okay.
the thumb people has to do with a guy takes
Oh.
kids' drawings and turns like the parents into the drawings.
I don't remember this.
Okay.
I don't
It
remember
just-
the plotting of.
I don't know how it all happened, but
Yeah.
this guy like had that ability and it
Yeah, yeah.
terrified me.
I feel like I rented.
Like the parents got turned into really odd looking things.
Yeah. I feel like I rented the second one and watched the second one more than the first one.
I did too.
So I don't remember specifics about the first one.
But yeah, this was a movie. I feel like it was interesting how it moved super fast at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then like was kind of dragged out at other points. But then like
So I think it was fun that like the plotting of it like really is like really quick at the beginning, and then we get like the last 50 minutes is all the like the last like 45 minutes is like the heist, and then the last 5 minutes is like putting a bow on everything.
yeah,
But it is fun that like I feel like for most heist movies that's kind of the structure. It's like there's a lot of plotting we got to get out of the way at the front end, and then we can just kind of live in the heist, because that's the fun part in the second half, you know.
yeah, and yeah, they for sure did that.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Austin and Gus weren't more mad about her kind of manipulating them to do a heist.
Yeah.
But you know,
I kind of want to go drive go-karts now. Is there a good go-karting place around here?
I don't know the name of one, but I think there's a place in like Broken Arrow that's like known for it, but I think it's a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
Like obviously you can do like Incredible Pizza, but that's like an indoor like small course.
Every time they stop, I notice every time Gus's character stopped, he always just like,
How that one died.
it's got a low battery. Oh, and now it's dead. Well, we'll just have you. The camera's on me now, apparently. Yeah.
Every time
every time he stops, he
yeah,
like
it seems
cuts.
satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they do like dramatic like turns as they stop. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's not
Or
Gus.
like when when Kristen Stewart's character is like driving away, the like cops like turn in and like are all of a sudden in front of her. She just like whips the wheel and
Yeah.
it just like does a 180.
Yeah. Look cool.
There's some cool go-kart stuff
Yeah.
in there. All right.
Yeah.
This was fun. We should do this again.
Okay.
I'm a fan of this.
All right. This is fun. I'm fine with that. Any other closing thoughts?
No.
I don't think so.
We mentioned this at the beginning, but right before we started recording, I found out that this is an adaptation of a Danish film called Catch That Girl.
So next time.
Have to fire that up. Yeah. It looks like they're like shot for shot some of the stuff.
Yeah. I'm down to watch it.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching / listening.
Yeah.
Hopefully that camera definitely recorded the last 20 minutes of footage. See everyone next time.
All right. See ya.